Hello, Money Multipliers. Welcome back to another episode of the Money Multiplier podcast. I'm your host, Hannah Kesler, and we ask ourselves, do our dollars make sense? Hey, y'all, just a reminder, I'm here every Tuesday with a new podcast episode. And if you stick around on Thursday mornings, 9 a.m. Eastern time, you can come and hang out for Money Mornings with Hannah. That will be live on the YouTube channel. And you can also catch the replay. I know for my West Coast people, it's going to be 6 a.m. your time. So if you're not an early bird and cannot join live, go and catch the replays on YouTube or on your podcasting platforms, wherever you stream your podcast, Money Mornings with Hannah. So y'all, I am excited about today's episode. I do have a guest on for today because let's talk about this for a second. Most business owners focus on growth, but very few focus on protection. And let me tell you, there was this gentleman who he's a client. He's got two policies. It's him, his wife, and they have another business partner. Well, after the Tampa event I hosted about 2 months ago now, he texts me on a Sunday night at 7 p.m. and says, "Hey, Hannah, just FYI, our business partner passed away this weekend. And now I have to go in and work the front desk at one of the John Deere facilities. What do you want to call it? Like the brick and mortar office. It's a John Deere. I now have to go in and work the front counter because he was our operations manager. 38 years old. And now this client is texting me saying, oh my goodness, I never realized the importance of key man insurance, having policies on my key employees, retaining my employees, and then also giving them bonuses and benefits because they are good employees and I want to support them, support their family. So that was something that just happened not too long ago. But seriously, like as a business owner, what happens if revenue slows? A lawsuit hits. All right, we live in America, okay? This is like the number one country where everybody sues everybody. Let's just be real. Or life throws something unexpected at you. So today we're going to be talking about building your financial fortress, not just the business. And actually, Elena Cardone, shout out to her and like Cardone Capital and all of them. They really build the family empire, right? And that's just what we're all after, right? And it's not so much about the money. It's literally just the resource that allows me to buy my time back so I can hang out with my family. I don't have to go into the office every single day. And I have my people, my helpers running the business. So this whole episode, the title today is called Building the Small Business Fortress, Protecting Family, Employees, and Your Financial Cash Flow. So I thought it'd be really fun to bring on Dr. Kyle Stephenson. Dr. Kyle, we met, he met my father, I don't know, maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago now. Dad was on a podcast with him and Dr. Kyle goes, oh my gosh, this infinite banking stuff is so cool. I want to start this. How do I do this? And now he's so deep into it. Dr. Kyle, I'll let you chime in, but I'm pretty sure you have like 4 policies now. So without further ado, Dr. Kyle, what is going on, my man?
What is up? Thanks, Hannah, for having me.
Yes, thanks for being here.
Yeah, long time due.
Hey, I know you've been on the pod one time before, but before we get into today's conversation, can you give us a quick background of who you are, why we should listen to you?
Yeah, definitely. I've never been on your podcast. You've been on my podcast.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Well, welcome.
This is an honor. We appreciate it. Yep. All right. So yes, Kyle Stephenson. I am an orthopedic surgeon. I'm here. I live in Indianapolis, Indiana. Full-time orthopedic surgeon. I have a beautiful wife. We just had our 4th kid last week. I am host of the Doctors Investor Club podcast, where we educate physicians on building wealth, basically. And then, I do real estate investing as well. Infinite banking, of course. And then, lastly, my little brother and I, he's an orthopedic PA. We just last week started an orthobiologics cash only business that him and I are starting to run now. So got a lot of things going on for sure, a lot of exciting things, but that's me in a nutshell.
I don't even know what that word is. What's the business you and your
Okay, so we started up an orthobiologics clinic. So basically, in my orthopedics practice, we see a lot of surgeries. We see a lot of joint pain that we give cortisone injections or send to physical therapy, or we do surgery. Well, there's this gap in treatment called orthobiologics, which is basically, have you ever heard of like PRP, which is platelet-rich plasma?
Okay.
Never heard of that?
Sure.
So that's basically what it is, where you can draw blood from the patient, you spin it, you grab the platelets, which are growth factors of the blood, and you can inject that into the problem area, the joint or tendon or whatever, and get patients much, better without doing surgery. So that's kind of our next phase of what we're doing. I'm still doing orthopedics, but that's a separate business that we're doing that's exciting. And I think, these next 5 years, we're going to see a lot more of it.
Well, an ignorant question, because I have a doctor friend out in San Jose, California.
Mm-hmm.
He does stem cell banking. Kind of the same, stem cells and all that, or not different?
Kind of the same, yeah. And you can't technically say stem cells because it's not legal here in the States. And but there's something, so PRP is one of them where you grab the blood and spin it, and the other one is BMAC, which is bone marrow cells, which is very stem cell like. So yeah, very, very similar. So it's basically using your own body's biology to heal, which is pretty fascinating. And there are a ton of good studies on it. And I truly think it's the future of orthopedics. And a lot more orthopedic groups are definitely using this, but we're taking the insurance out of it, which is nice.
Yeah.
Because that's really the biggest complaint we get is like, hey, doc, my surgery went great, but these bills that I'm getting now from the insurance company, are really hampering my life.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice to take them out and just do our own thing, what's best for the patient.
Yeah. Hey, if I forget, we're going to talk about this, but I just met some chiros who live up in North Carolina, and because I want to talk about cash flow, but what she told me is she says going cash only in the office was the biggest game changer that she could have ever done. Screw insurance.
I believe it. I mean, doctors, patients, like nobody really benefits from the insurance. Nobody's happy about it. And it only tends to get worse, it seems like, more than better. So might as well just take them out of the loop.
Yeah. Now for you, because you are like being a doctor, like let's just admit it, right? You are a high income earner. So when did you start thinking beyond just earning this income? When was that mindset shift?
Good question. So when I was in residency, so there's one guy called The White Coat Investor. He's basically like the book that all doctors read, all medical students and residents. And I would compare him. I like him, nice guy. But I would compare his teachings more to the Dave Ramsey, if you will, right? Like just invest in the stock market, buy term, invest the difference, work for 30 years, and then retire, and you should be fine. When I was reading him, I was also reading Robert Kiyosaki. And reading that first, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which a lot of people do, reading that just really opened my eyes to the game of buying assets, not liabilities. We do make good money, but we're constantly spending our time for that money. And so over these last 7-8 years of being in practice, I've really been studying what are the wealthy doing, and they're not trading their time for money. And as doctors, it's like, can I take 30 days off to go take my family to Hawaii? Yeah, I could, but I'm not going to make money while doing that. My real estate investments are still paying me while I'm doing that. My royalties are still paying me while I'm doing that. So I've learned how to set up passive income to fund my life as opposed to just working as a doctor. And now I do it because I enjoy it, not because I feel like I have to.
Yeah. I need to look it up. The Robert Kiyosaki 4 quadrants, right? Because there's people
cash
at
flow
work,
quadrants,
cash flow quadrants, people at work, money at work. There's other people for you at work. And then there's one more. I'm missing it.
So on the left, you have the E, employee. You spend time for money. The bottom left is S, small business, which most doctors fit in. which you basically just create yourself a job, spending time for money. On the right side is where you really want to be. And that's big B, big business, where you have systems running in place so you can leave and your system still work for you. And then the bottom right is I for investor. And that's where your money's working for you when you're not doing a thing.
Here we go. And I got, for all my YouTube listeners or watchers, here, there's a little graphic there. Your E, the S, the B, then the I. In my opinion, yes, B, I want to be in B and I also want to be in I. You want to be on the right side of the quadrant.
That's it.
And that's what we're here talking about. No, good. Hey, because then it really goes from, and have you noticed this too? Because like Dr. Kyle, you probably have maybe students or people that you're mentoring, and it's all mindset at the end of the day. Have you noticed that too?
Oh, 100%. 100%. Every good book you read starts with mindset. I actually just put a podcast episode out there. This is fascinating to me because every book you read is mindset. Jim Rohn and Tony Robbins, all those guys talk about mindset. And my argument on my last podcast was, where did they all get their information from? The Bible. You could argue that the Bible really has all this great information that teaches us about mindset and wealth and family and legacy and all these things. So yeah, 100% mindset is the ultimate way to build all this.
Yep. Because you go from transitioning to being an earner to actually being a builder. And I want to ask you, from owning a practice, being a business owner, what do you believe are the biggest risks that you see business owners not preparing for? What are those unseen times?
Well, I mean, so, as a physician, I've been employed basically the last 8 years. So it's hard for me to really speak to that other than, my brother and I just started that business. But
yeah,
so the unprepared times are, low revenue, of course, when you're not sure if money's coming in that month. My dad's an entrepreneur and passed away a couple of years ago, but he always told me entrepreneurs have the best day of their life and the worst day of their life in the same day. Yeah. So you may have a month where you don't have any income coming in. And then you're always exploited, especially as a physician business owner. Your liability is very high, right? So, having malpractice insurance can help, but you're definitely at risk of being in a lawsuit.
Yeah. How much is malpractice insurance going for nowadays, would you say?
Cheaper because we're not doing surgery, but it's still, we pay about $8,000 a year.
$8,000 a year. Okay.
Not terrible.
I mean, even for my E&O insurance, holding my life insurance licenses in all states here in the country, it's about $5,000 a year what we're paying, right? And you never know, because like there was even, I may have shared this story with you, Dr. Kyle, but I don't know if I shared it on the pod yet, but like when Dad had his office in Ottawa, Kansas, there was a lady who's been coming for like a year and a half, right? And just one day out of the blue, she tripped over the parking stump, right? That's out there. And she decided to sue the office. Mary, you've been coming here for the last year and a half. That stump just didn't magically appear one day, right?
That's right.
But I know it's different insurance and like malpractice insurance, but insurance is important, right? And and I mean, hey, to kind of tie it into the infinite banking concept and whole life policies, that's one thing I say all the time is that, oh my goodness, y'all, you guys will spend buku bucks on all of this if insurance, rather than the insurance that's actually guaranteed to happen, aka your graduation date, aka the date that you actually go home to be with Jesus or whoever you believe in, right?
Absolutely. That's what I love about what you guys preach. It's phenomenal, or what you guys educate on, I should say, because you're exactly right. And really, healthcare insurance is like, there's definitely a thorn with that. It's a corrupt system, very different than what we're talking about, of course.
Yeah. And for my business owners, you got to understand that, your business is your assets. It is a reflection of you. I know that y'all are passionate about it. I'm passionate about my business and what I'm doing over here, but my business isn't my safety net. I mean, it can be an exposure for me. People see, oh, Hannah's doing all this. Hannah's got all this stuff. Dr. Kyle's got all this stuff. Look at
Yep.
him going to Hawaii and spending 6 weeks with his family over here. What are they doing, right? It is some exposure there, especially in today's day and age of social media and everybody posting everything online. Nothing's secret no more.
That's right. Yep.
But if your income stops, does your system keep working? So Dr. Kyle, just real quick, I mean, you and your policies, what have you been doing with your policies up to this point? And what's on the horizon? What's new?
Yeah. So for us, I mean, to your point, like I met your dad and that just blew my mind, about a year and a half ago now. And then just picking your brain and your dad and the team. I have 2 policies. My wife has 1. We have 3 on my kids. Now I just got a 4th kid. So now we got to get him a policy.
Mm-hmm.
But so I mostly use mine for cash flowing assets. I'm a big advocate of velocity of wealth, using your dollars multiple times. And so we were going to buy, okay, I'll just start with mine. So my wife's a real estate professional status, reps status. So I have a W-2 income with my job. And the only way to really protect our taxes is for her to be real estate professional status. So we deal with big commercial real estate, multifamily for the most part. And so she helps manage that, investor relations, all the things to get the hours. And so we invest in those deals, which a lot of the real estate we do is here in Indianapolis. But by investing our money in those deals, then we get, that dollar working multiple times, right? And so that's one thing we do. And then I did do I put like $50,000 into a debt fund where I get a guaranteed 12% a month, which I love, which is great. It's just continuous cash flow. So I love that. The tax benefits are just not as good as the real estate, but I do appreciate the 12%. Mm-hmm. And then for our kids, we haven't touched yet, and we're probably not going to for a little bit, but I just ordered the whiteboard, and we're going to start teaching our kiddos about the system and money in general, and just how to become your own bank and all that stuff. We're going to be in the process of teaching them with Money Mondays. And then lastly, they do like a hybrid homeschool. So they have Mondays and Fridays off. So on Mondays, we can spend a half hour and do Money Mondays and just me educate them on how to build wealth by creating value. And the goal of it is, get them to start their own business at some point. They want to do a healthy candy store. So it's like, okay, here's what you need to do. Understand income, expenses, all this stuff. And it's just very simple. I mean, they're 5 and 4, right? So keep it very simple. But then 4 years from now they're going to understand it a little bit more. Then it gets more complex. And then by the time they graduate high school, they're like, they don't need college, hopefully, because they can just create their own value.
Unless they want to be like you, Dad. Unless they want to be like you.
If they want to be a doctor, they could do it, but we'll see.
Yeah.
But, and then I was going to say on my wife's policy, we just bought her a car. And so we were going to actually use the policy to buy her car. But then we had a couple of good real estate deals come in. We're like, we could either buy her car with cash and use that policy for real estate, or we can use the policy to buy the car. We did the math. We decided, let's just pay cash for the car. We actually are financing. We are financing, which goes against a lot of things, of course. But we have like a 4% rate on that. And I know we can make, 17 annualized % on the real estate deal. So that's what we chose to do.
Yeah. Hey, no, Doc, to that point. Oh, okay. 2 things. Number 1, I'm going to have you come back on. I want to talk about your Money Mondays and how that stuff is going. Mm-hmm. And an idea too, you probably already know this, but I'm saying it more so for my listeners, because you have that business with your brother. Mm-hmm. Money Mondays. Hey kids, let's look at the books for the business. Now pay them a salary, get some tax write-offs there and whatnot. But like to your point about, I know that's one of Nelson's laws, which is don't do business with banks. When I talk about that, I put a little asterisk next to that, because I understand what Nelson is saying. Hey, don't do business with banks because, number 1, you're kind of contributing to the problem that we have here in America with our inflation, the Fed, the government, whatever. But number two, yes, the banker is going to be in control of that transaction. However, just like how you said, Doc, if as us Gen Zers say, if the math is math and it can make sense, go and do it. And as long as you're disciplined with using that borrowed money, as Robert Kiyosaki says, borrowed money. I love debt. I love borrowed money because that's tax-free money. Then it can make sense for you. So no, 100%. Even like when I, being a young girl, I bought a car not too long ago and I wanted to build up my credit. Okay. Young girl, don't have a big credit history. Like I just want to build it up. I could have paid cash for the car, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to use the financing company to buy the car. And then just like as you do, it opens up the cash within my policies that now I can go and deploy it into these other investment deals. And then now the cash flow coming back from those investment deals, that's what's going to pay the monthly car payment.
Yep.
Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. I love it. But this whole thing just makes you think so much deeper about money and understand it so much better, which is the phenomenal thing. It's like understanding how banks work, understanding how money works. Again, I was mind blown when I first talked to you and your dad. It's just such opposite thinking of what you're taught for all these years, So I love it. I'm forever indebted to you guys because of that. I would have never known otherwise.
Oh, that's sweet. Hey, can I ask you though? It's going to be a hard question and I want you to be so open, but you don't have to go that open to piss people off. But why are doctors the worst with this stuff? Like, why is it ego? Is it because like, hey, I'm a doctor, like I know everything? Like, why are they like so close-minded to outside the box thinking and different things about money? Why do you think?
So I would say two things. Ego is definitely one of them. No question. Whether it's number one or not, ego is one. And I mean, it kind of goes along with it. Number two is low financial IQ, right? Doctors are smart people. We don't like to be the dumbest in the room. So if we go into a financial room, we don't enjoy that. And I shouldn't say we, because I actually enjoy it now. But yeah, because of ego. And then you don't learn anything about finance. Literally in school, medical school, residency, nobody's teaching you about financial IQ. And so, yeah, you make good money. That doesn't mean you understand how to make decisions based off that, right? And so we pay a ton in taxes. We pay a ton in interest. And most docs, they reach out to me and they're like, man, how do I pay less in taxes? How do I pay less in interest? How do I do this? And I give them exactly what to do. I'm like, just do it. And they don't do it. And a lot of them will go to their financial advisor and he's going to talk them out of it. Or, or they just keep doing what they're doing. And I think, the other thing is you make good enough money as a doc that most feel like they can overcome it. They're like, whatever, I can take high risk on something and I'll just make it up. I'll just take some more call or I'll work harder and make up that money. But then unfortunately you get to be 65 and it's like, you're still working your butt off because of the decisions you made.
Yep.
So ego, low financial IQ. I think they're the two biggest things.
Cue back up the cash flow quadrant.
That's it. And most docs are on that left side. And so I've been trying to push more people to think more like the right side. And the big B is hard to do, right? Like putting, systems in place and, you should do it. You have to do it. Like I own Airbnbs because that gives us tax benefit. So we have systems in place to automate it to make sure that I don't have to answer every little thing, or my wife doesn't have to answer every little thing. We're busy. So you do put systems in place to automate, but being that I think is important. So I'm a big fan of infinite banking is like the baseline. Like you have to become your own bank. And then from there, you can really, exponentially increase that money by investing it. And I think real estate's a good tool to do it.
Yeah. And let me ask you this, just off the dome question right now. What does it mean to be your own banker to you? What's your definition of becoming your own banker? Sorry to put you on the spot.
Nope, that's good. Ultimately, what you just mentioned with R. Nelson Nash is to be able to take the banks out of the equation. I don't think it's going to happen in my lifetime necessarily, but because we have a mortgage and it's a big expense, my policies don't make up for that mortgage or don't have enough in them to pay off the mortgage. I'll put it that way.
Yet.
But yet, so, and if it does happen in my lifetime, fantastic. But ultimately, I want to be able to educate my kids. So they're going to get handed some money, right, from our policies. Of course, it's going to go to a trust, and then there's going to be, rules in place. But ultimately, I really want them to understand values, principles, understand money, how it works, so that they can take that money and not just blow it in the second generation. But I also think, because of talking to you guys, instead of them having their own mortgage, which is obviously the biggest expense of most people after taxes, they can borrow from the family bank. So now their house is going to be the family bank, their car, family bank, all those things. And then grandkids, for sure, it'll be easy for that to be the case. And then just keep going generations, So the family bank it's genius. And, I would like to take the banking function, in full control into our family.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a lot of education.
Yeah. Yeah. Which
that's what Money Mondays will come into play.
No, straight up. And I was going to go there too. Big PSA to all the listeners. If you are not hosting those annual family banking meetings, or maybe hopping on a Zoom every 6 months with the family to get on the same page with the family fortress, what I call the family empire, it's important. And by the way, I'm not a tax advisor, not a CPA. Please go talk to one. You can even use those trips for some write-offs, just FYI, if you're talking about business within the family. So just a little side note, because what's the worst thing that can happen? You go and have a vacation in Costa Rica, you guys talk for 2 hours over the whole week about what's going on in the family banking system and what's assets and liabilities and what are we planning for into the future and yada, 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 right? What's the worst thing that can happen? Everyone just gets on the same page. It's all mindset and it's all communication. It's literally like a relationship if you think about it. It's a marriage with your money, right?
Yep. Completely new mindset. And even, with that being said, like my lender and my CPA are buddies of mine, but they're also like very much a part of the way I build my real estate and my, business and the way we do things. And over the last year and a half, they've got an earful about this, and they've had to dive in deep as much as I have to understand it. Cause I said, guys, we're doing it. Like, this is what I'm doing. And I'm like, please figure out something that goes against this and tells me I shouldn't. And they have not been able to. Now my lender wants to he wants to get a policy. He obviously doesn't want me to take my money out of the bank, but my CPA is on board 100%, which helps me a ton with all this stuff.
Yeah. Hey, and for my listeners, go back and watch my episode titled Why Your Financial Advisor May Hate the Infinite Banking Concept, because that's a whole other rabbit hole that we can go down. But I want to ask you, Doc, like, what is it when you say building your family empire? What does that mean to you? Is it because you want to spend more time with your family? Y'all want to travel the world? Like, what are the pillars, would you say, to create this strong family banking business?
Ultimately, for us, it's going to be freedom. Like, do we like to travel? Yes. Right now it's hard because we got 4 young kids.
Yeah.
But it's ultimately optionality, freedom, having the time. As an orthopedic surgeon, I have to take call and I have to go into the hospital. Don't tell my hospital, but I see myself in the next 2 to 3 years getting away from that to where I have options and I can say, hey, I want to take 6 weeks off. I want to take a month off. I want to, move my family down for 2 to 3 months. And we have a potential to buy maybe a place in Dominican Republic, which is kind of cool. It's an opportunity that popped up. And so we're going to go check it out here soon. But it would be something we Airbnb and then go down and visit and things like that. But we just want to have the option for us to be able to, grill out on the beach whenever we want. And those are things that, we just can't do right now because I'm tied to this job.
Yeah.
But once we have optionality, you can go do the things you want to do. So, for us, it's definitely going to be family, and then just whatever the heck we want to do. If we want to move away for sometime, we're going to do it.
Hey, sorry to interrupt the episode here, but I want to take a quick break. If what you're hearing today has made you curious about infinite banking, how it works, I want you to go watch my free presentation. In it, I walk you through the same steps that my family took to pay off $984,000 of debt in 39 months, and how we've been able to recycle and recapture every single dollar since then. This isn't theory. This is real. I mean, this is what the wealthy have been using over 200 years to keep the money within the family. This is literally where banks, conventional banks, store a boatload of their dollars at. And it's the same process that we've helped thousands of families across the country put into action. So go to themoneyMultiplier.com/presentation and see for yourself how you can start taking control of your money today. All right, let's get back into the episode. Hey, speaking of, I literally just said I spent 2 hours. I started my day at 8 a.m. on a phone call with my father. Oh, starting your day talking to Brent Kesler. Oh my goodness. But I was on the phone with him for 2 hours. And actually, I don't know why, but I felt compelled because people have been catching the drift, over here at the Money Multiplier. I know you guys ask me, like, honestly, a lot of y'all ask me, hey, what's going on with Brent? Is Brent still around? Is he still doing this stuff? And the answer is yes. Like, Dad will never stop talking about banking. But Dad's going to be 59 this year, and he's built up an empire. He's built businesses. He's got properties and the Idaho house, the lake house, the boats, the jet skis, the snowmobiles. I'm not saying this to brag. I'm saying this is just what he's accomplished in his life, and especially because Dad came from nothing. Just FYI, if you want to hear Dad's story, reach out to me and I'll send you his book, Mapping Out the Millionaire Mystery. If you send me an email to hannah@themoneymultiplier.com, it'll get into Dad's story. But Dad didn't come from crap. Okay. And so he's like, oh my gosh, I have all of this stuff and I just want to go and enjoy my life. There's other things that I just want to go and do. And he's still going to be here. Maybe instead of speaking at 50 events a year, it's going to be more like 4 events a year. He's still going to do his podcasts, his webinars and stuff like that. But that's really what it leads you to, is to have the freedom of the choices to wake up. And I said, Dad, you should be very proud of yourself because you get to wake up. And how are you feeling today? What do you want to do? Do you want to go to the beach? Do you want to go sit on the boat? Do you want to sit on the couch all day and read a book? Do you want to go play bingo down at the bingo hall or go to play billiards? What do you want to do? Because you get to decide. You have that time freedom on your side. So before I get into asking you, Doc, about, I want you to share about what you have going on in real estate. And I think you are also raising some capital right now. If there are some investment opportunities that people could reach out to you, I'm going to ask you about that. But just real quick, a topic I want to hit on for the listeners about my business owners protecting employees. Okay, I do have some episodes where I went deep into small businesses and how to implement policies there. But here's high level. Instead of going out there and getting your employees like a 401k, a Roth, whatever, right? Some type of retirement account, you can actually own policies on the employees in your office. You and your business partner, you guys could have policies on each other. That's what's called a buy-sell agreement. If there's more than just 2 owners of the company, that's when it starts getting into what's called the cross-purchase agreement. But it's essentially just protecting from premature deaths. It's protecting against deaths because, hey, maybe Dr. Kyle and I are in a business together and I'm like, hey, love your wife, but she's a crappy business partner. I don't want to do business with her. So I'm going to use this death benefit money just to buy her out of this business. Right. But then also the living benefits, this is where I kind of make the joke all the time that there's maybe a reason that they call it life insurance and not death insurance, because there are living benefits of how you can leverage the cash value from the whole life policy to go pay payroll expenses, pay taxes, pay the insurances, the overhead costs of the office. I mean, hey, all of our people on our team, I mean, I only have 1099 people. Nobody's on W-2. And so even as benefits, we match them into their policies. If people want dental insurance, health insurance, or something else, we will use the cash values from the policy to go and pay those premiums on those insurances and the benefits that they want. But guess what? Also, that you can even use the whole life contract for guaranteed income, tax-free income during retirement. That's outside of the markets, that's outside of government control. Because remember, a whole life policy is a contractual private contract between you and the insurance company, just FYI. So you can truly utilize this vehicle to finance the purchases for your business, offer benefits to the employees, protect yourself, you and your business owners. And so, this is my other joke I make all the time. Do you kind of see why Nelson calls this the infinite banking concept? Because there's infinite ways to use it. And then also, hey, kind of like infinite returns with uninterrupted compounding, if you will. But Doc, so I just kind of wanted to hit on that topic before I ask you about real estate. Talk to me about what you're doing right now. I know you're into your multifamily, into your syndications. Can you just explain briefly for my people who are maybe not aware about what even is a syndication?
Yep. So real quick before I get to that point, I should have shortened my answer on, what our life is going to look like with the infinite banking policy. I should have just said, I want to be Brent Kesler, basically, right? He's got it all. So I appreciate that. But, and then the other thing with my business with Joint Health Center of Indiana, that's what it's called with my brother and I, we bought one of our big equipment. We bought that with my policy. So the business is paying that back. And then we started the business, he put money down, I put money down, I used it from the policy. So those are multiple ways we're using it in the business. And then I'll have to pick your brain on, getting a policy on the business owner, my partner. But okay, so back to real estate syndication. What is that? Basically, if you see, a big commercial building, whether it's an apartment building, self-storage, whatever it is, you basically pool a bunch of people's money together to create a syndication. And that's how you buy these big apartment buildings. So it's usually a group of people that come together and buy it. I work with a team called Hudson Investing. Buddies of mine, I went to high school with them, crazy enough. And we went our separate ways. I've been doing real estate investing for the past 8 years. Got together with my high school buddy who I haven't seen in 20 years, realized that we're doing the same thing, but his team is they're like general partners, finding deals, mostly multifamily here in Indianapolis, Indiana. And so we've partnered together, and I help them on the GP side where I help with investor relations, bring capital, and we buy multifamily. Our deal right now is in Westfield, Indiana. You can look it up. Carmel, Indiana is basically a suburb of Indianapolis. Westfield is as well. But Carmel's like number 2 city in the country on every list that you can imagine. It's just very affluent, nice area. Westfield is just north of it. So Carmel's basically saturated. Everything's moving up to Westfield, and it's growing like crazy. And so this is our 3rd apartment complex here in town. And this is a 300 unit value add. It's already cash flowing. We close on May 2nd. And so we're finishing up our raise. And we have just a little bit left, but it's a big opportunity. It's one of those where we hit kind of that institutional investment level where we have like family offices investing into it.
Cool.
So there's,
Congrats.
Yeah. It's exciting. So yeah, it's been fun. I mean, the real estate stuff is, it builds wealth over time, right? It's not like you get rich quick. And I would say that with anything. But it's something that builds wealth over time. And that, stock market looks like crap right now, But that's when real estate comes in to diversify, knowing that those people still need to rent. They still need to pay they're still paying their rent. So they're still paying your mortgage down. And that's why real estate comes in handy.
Good.
So, yep.
What actually, I haven't even informed you yet, but you know that I'm a big private lender.
Yep.
I'm getting killed on the tax side, so I'm really like a student of taxes right now. I'm closing on 2 condos in Atlantic City, New Jersey on the 10th.
Nice.
So literally 4 days after this episode comes out. So that's
Let's
exciting.
go. Good for you.
But I'm doing it more so for the tax purposes, depreciation, cost seg, and doing all of that. And yeah, to your point, no, I mean, does it cash flow? Sure. But it's cash flowing like what, $300 a month? But I'm doing it more so for the tax liability that I can minimize every year and building my wealth. Because I'm going to quote Brent Kesler. He says, the only purchase I ever regret not buying is a piece of land or a piece of property, because it always appreciates, it always goes up. I'm just curious, just because I don't know, in multifamily, what like kind of margins are people looking at? Like, what's like, how do I know, like in a good multifamily deal, like positive cash flow, what's good, if I can ask?
Yeah. I mean, cash flow wise, whenever you're doing long-term rentals, I mean, regardless, you want 8 to 12% cash flow.
Okay.
Essentially is what you want, right? That's going to be like on par with the, stock market, if you will. But the stock market doesn't give you the tax benefits. It doesn't give you appreciation. It doesn't give you, amortization. So what these guys look at, Hudson Investing, the way I work with them, the reason I work with them is because they're going to hit at least 15% average annual return, because that's more than the stock market. And then you still get the tax benefits and all that stuff, on top of it. So that's what I like. I would say anything over 15%. A lot of these deals, like if somebody comes to you and says, hey, we can get you 30% return on investment, be careful, because it's probably too good to be true, truthfully.
Okay.
Multifamily is just stable, slow, boring. You basically double your money in 5 years, essentially.
Yeah.
That's what I like. Now for you, your condos, are you Airbnb-ing those, or are you just doing long-term rentals?
I could. So I have a real estate mentor now. Shout out M. Lerman. He's amazing. He's been a client. He's got about 6 policies. It's a husband-wife team. You would vibe with them. I'm surprised you guys. Yeah. He was at my Tampa event. He didn't come to Denver. I know you were in Denver though. 400 doors. They have 400 doors. Okay. I said, this guy knows what he's talking about. And he's been doing it for 25 plus years, So he's kind of taking me under his wing. He's thinking more long-term, and he's going to manage it because he lives right up there. But I could go either way. What would you do? What would you do if you were
So here's what I talk to doctors about all the time, but this just goes for anybody that's making over $150,000. The best tax benefits you'll get is Airbnb is like the low-hanging fruit. It's called the short-term rental tax loophole. That's where you can do the cost segregation, and that money can offset your W-2 or 1099, your earned income, right? If you do real estate professional status, you have to work 750 hours in real estate and more than your job. Those are both, the 2 ways to offset your active income taxes. So if you just have 2 long-term rentals, then you'll get passive income from that real estate. Passive depreciation from that real estate.
Okay.
So real estate, essentially, per the IRS code, is passive, meaning you'll get passive depreciation that only offsets your passive income. Does that make sense? Which
would make sense because I'm a lender, and lender income is passive.
Yeah.
Is that right?
But even if you just own 2 long-term rentals, then you're more than likely not going to hit rep status, because you have to get 750 hours, about 14 to 15 hours a week.
I talk with real estate investors all week long. I'm still trying to work that out with my CPA and tax.
Yeah, talk to your CPA and figure out. Like, I think your dad could be a real estate professional. He's got enough properties. But the Airbnb is definitely the low-hanging fruit. You'll make more cash flow per month, and then you just have to get 100 hours and more than everybody else. So the biggest problem with that is if you have a property manager in, then he's probably going to get more hours than you. So you got to be careful on that. So just talk to your real estate guy that you're talking about, your coach, and talk to your CPA and say, hey, what's the best way to get the tax benefit? You don't just want to do it for the tax benefit because you really want to cash flow. So you want, both of those working hand in hand.
Yeah.
I tell people don't buy real estate just to get the tax benefit unless you're doing short-term rental tax loophole, rep status. Otherwise you might as well just put your money in a syndication and be completely passive where you're not doing a darn thing. And then you'll still get the passive depreciation.
Got you.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Talk to them.
No, that's good though. It's good insight. Yeah, I'm looking at it from a perspective of I'm 26 years old right now. If I hold these things, just let the market climb. Then if we want to sell it, do 1031 or do something else in the future. I don't know.
Yeah. Yep.
No, that's
no, it's good. 1031, like you got a good property manager. So that's huge. We've had an Airbnb for the last 2 years. And because we're reps, I finally just hired a property manager and I'm like, she can deal with the headache because being a landlord sucks. Right. But as long as you have a plan in place for the tax benefits, that's the key to it all.
Yeah.
But just know that it's not going to offset your active income unless you hit those two, situations.
Yeah. Yeah. No, this is good. What would be your, actually, this was a question I wanted to ask you. Having a syndication, do you legally have to set up a fund as well? Is that what a syndication is? It is a fund?
It's, there's an LLC, yes,
Okay.
with all the group of people, yes. Now you can create a fund. Like for me, like I could be a fund of funds, meaning like I can get, 10 people to invest and then I can have my own fund. And most people do that for their own benefits.
Mm-hmm.
You can have a fund. And most of the time a fund is just, hey, we're raising money all the time. We have 10 deals this year that we're going to do. And you're going to be mixed into all these deals and then you'll get a certain percentage back. The way I do it with Hudson, the way they do it is they only do 3 deals a year. And so we're just raising money for each deal. But that's the way they're doing it because they stay fairly small. But I think that's advantageous too. Because if you get a fund and you're like, we're going to do 10 deals this year. Well, now you spread yourself really thin and you may only have 3 of those that are good deals. 7 of those could be, mediocre. So it all depends on the situation.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is just like a big PSA to always, as I say, think for yourself and question,
Mm-hmm.
have conversations with different people with different perspectives, because not everybody thinks the same. And sometimes that frustrates me. I called my mom up last week. I was like, Mom, why doesn't everyone think the same way I do? They're just not getting it. They're not getting it. But no, very, very good. And are like you said, you are still capital raising, but is there a minimum? And for people, hey, y'all, I'm going to post up Dr. Kyle's email here, Kyle at doctorsinvestorclub.com. Let me say that again, Kyle at doctors with an S, investorclub.com. You can get in contact with him, but you are still raising, right? Is there a minimum or?
Yep, we're still raising. Yeah, technically we have the minimum is 100,000. It just keeps, certain people out, I guess. But if anybody reaches out to me, it doesn't have to be a doctor. It could be anybody. If you're intrigued to invest in multifamily here in the Midwest, reach out to me and let me know. We can definitely work out a situation where I'm getting people in for less than 100,000. I'll put it that way. If you're intrigued by it, the beauty of the Midwest market is it's boring, but it's stable. There's a ton of jobs here, so people have to live here.
Yep, 100%.
And like when 2008 crashed the coasts here, it didn't really do much because again, people have to live here. And so if you just look at the job opportunities here in Indianapolis, it's only growing, and that helps the situation.
Y'all, and I kind of talked a little bit about that on last week's episode. If you tuned in, I was at the beach last week. Okay, so if y'all saw that, if you missed it, you should go watch on YouTube. It was a nice day at the beach. But that's kind of the reason why Dad says, because he started his first chiropractic office in 2008, and he didn't feel it whatsoever. And I don't know because it was in the Midwest, it was in Kansas and South Kansas, who knows, right? But you didn't feel it. But no, this is good. Now, Doc, I'm going to ask you 2 rapid fire questions, and I think I know what your answers are, but I'm going to ask them anyways. Number 1, if you could go back to your younger self, what would you set up sooner?
I mean, obviously this, right? Like infinite banking policy, just to expound upon it, like again, as physicians, we make good money. And I always thought that the wealthy just took more risk, high risk, high reward. That was always my mindset. And so it's like, okay, I got to do this crazy deal. I got to do this crazy deal. And I've got burned so many times now that I'm tired of it. I love the consistent cash flow. I love the protection. I just love hitting doubles. And that's basically what it does for me.
Next one. What's one thing every business owner or entrepreneur should do this year to strengthen their financial position?
Invest in yourself. I mean, go to conferences, go to one of Hannah's conferences, invest in yourself. It's being in the right rooms, being around the right people. It's like you are the average of the 5 people you hang around. So if you're in the rooms with people much smarter than you, doing the things that you want to be doing, then you're only going to grow and succeed.
Doc, are you hosting another event this year? Or what's going on there? You think, or?
Good question. We're trying to figure that out still. I want to. I definitely want to. I liked it. And I think that we got good feedback. And a lot of people reached out to me after the fact when they didn't show up for it. And they're like, oh man, I missed out, didn't I? So, we're getting good demand for it. We'll see. I'm trying to figure that out still. It was a lot of like personal.
FOMO.
Yeah, they get FOMO big time. But it was a lot. I mean, basically I did it all myself and I loved it. If I can have a little help this year, I would do it in a heartbeat. If I asked my wife right now, she'd be like, absolutely not. We have 4 young kids. You're not doing it. But I do think it's so beneficial to get these people in the right room. And, you can only learn the information so much yourself. Like you want to be able to spread it to everybody else. Yeah. And I am actually going to start, I'm actually starting to speak at residency programs on finances in general, but this stuff as an important part of it. Because, I think it's so important, again, that financial IQ that doctors don't get. We need more good speakers out there trying to educate.
Yep. Instead of trying to make a quick buck. That's a whole, y'all, at some point I need to go like on, maybe it'll be my Monday morning show where I go on like tangents of pet peeves that's been on my mind recently. Hey, Doc, I got to tell you something. My father just last week, you have Morgan Wallen coming to town. We're going to be there at the Morgan Wallen
show.
Let's go. Okay. So when we're in town, it'll be Zach, myself, mom and dad, and then Zach's girlfriend, Summer. We should go out to dinner sometime. So just
let's do it.
There, okay.
Absolutely. That sounds great. Heck yeah. Now, I appreciate what you're doing, Hannah, and, your dad, obviously, and just your team. Again, you're educating a lot of people. And, my community would have known nothing about this if it wasn't for you guys. And so, yeah, I'm a huge fan of what you guys are doing. And, let's keep it up. Let's continue to collaborate and do big things.
Absolutely. Hey, and where can people find your book? My doctors, physicians, Dr. Kyle's got a book. Where can they find it?
Well, I do have a book. It's a free ebook, basically. It's not a book necessarily, but it is good because it talks about real estate investing. So go to my website. There's actually a website, investwithdrkyle.com. And you can go on there to learn about any investments that we're doing. You can learn about my podcast and investwithdrkyle.com. And then you can get the free ebook. And it has a quote from the one and only Hannah Kesler, where she said on a podcast, now I got to look it up because I don't want to mess it up.
No, as you're looking it up, I do, because I was reading it when I was in the airplane and I said, oh, I screamed. I said, I'm in Dr. Kyle's book. That is so cool. Thank you.
You can't put a price tag on a peace of mind. I love that.
Oh. That's
Yep.
good. Well,
You're
thank you guys
fantastic.
here. Hey, I'm just going to say it. I'm not going to post it up on the screen, but hey, if you guys are really, really passionate about this stuff, I mean, I'm not just saying this because you're here sitting in front of me. I really enjoy you. I enjoy your energy. I love your family. If you want to text Kyle, do not abuse his phone number, people. But his phone number is 317-908-6458. You can text Dr. Kyle. Don't call him. Text him first, please. But get in contact with him and what he's doing. And I mean, seriously, you're building some cool stuff, and we'll continue to collaborate. I am going to say last thing that I am pivoting out of the live big events and conferences. I have something in the works for my Gen Z and millennials, some webinars and some get togethers that we're going to do. And then also some money multiplier experiences. So going down to Roatan, going down to Acapulco, let's go rent a cabin, like a big house in Park City, Utah, and just have a group of like 15 to 20 of us at max, really high quality people so that we can continue to learn from each other. And maybe even like one day, hey, we have our own little family office that we're doing over here, right? So just a lot of cool things in the works. Doc, before I let you go, is there anything that I did not ask you or anything that you want to leave with the listeners?
Honestly, again, I think the biggest thing in general is just read books, be in the right rooms. I tell anybody that asks me questions, I say, if you want to get ahead of like 99% of people, read books, because that's where, people pour their heart into things, and that's where you're going to find success. But more importantly, be in the right rooms, be around these people that are talking about this important stuff. And that's how you'll get better. Not only that, but you'll build great relationships. So that's even more important.
All businesses are relationship businesses. That's
Mm-hmm.
another little nugget, y'all. Hey, what book right now? What's a good book people should maybe look into?
What's funny is I just finished the 1-year Bible, which is kind of cool. It took me 2 years. We had our first son. I was every day for 6 months. Then we had a son, took 6 months off, and then got back to it. So that was a cool one. One book that I just opened up this morning, and I like it, and it speaks to a lot of what we just talked about today. Do you know Ryan D. Lee?
Yeah, Ryan Lee. Yeah.
Ryan Lee, yeah. I just started reading his book. It speaks to real estate and infinite banking and all the things. So, yeah, I just started reading his book today.
He was on our Whistler trip, just FYI. I should have made that connection. Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. But yeah, I mean, I keep going back to becoming your own banker. And yeah, a lot of good books out there. Kiyosaki, you can't go wrong with.
Good.
That's it.
So yeah, no, please, y'all. Okay, one more time. I'm gonna post it up on the screen. Kyle at Doctors with an S, doctorsinvestorclub.com. Dr. Kyle, I'm gonna take you off the screen for a second, but I just want to say, Money Multiplier, seriously, if you start taking your financial life seriously, it's life-changing, it's game-changing, and you don't build a fortress when you're under attack. You got to build it before. Quoting Brent Kesler again, he says, a failure to plan is a plan to fail. So the strongest businesses aren't just profitable, they're protected. And the cash flow isn't just about growth, it's about survival, it's about the control. So you don't just want to build a business, you want to build a system that protects everything that you've worked so damn hard for. So I will be back next week with another episode. Please reach out to me. Y'all got my email address, hannah@themoneymultiplier.com. Find me there. Follow the social media channels, Hannah_Kesler. Hannah spelled the same ways forwards and backwards. Kesler with one S. I am traveling. I'm on the road. As the time of this episode launches, I will be in Scottsdale, Arizona. After that, we got Austin, Texas. After that is Boulder, Colorado. Then I'm back home because then my best girlfriend is getting married. I'm so excited. Anyways, that's what's going on in my world. I hope you all are well. Do well, be good, don't do anything that I wouldn't do. And until next week, see y'all later. Bye, Money Multipliers. Hey y'all, if you've made it this far, this is where most people stop, and that's why they continue to be stuck with their money. Continue on with your education. Click right here. It'll take you to the next video.